Wait. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this extraordinary, amazing episode of Giallo, Ciao, the All Giallo Show. This is episode 39, and we're coming to you live from Carabinieri.
From where?
The place where we talk about Giallo films.
Accendora? Is that? It might be Accendora.
Yes.
Creep, looks like you dressed up for the occasion.
And here is, I have on a little bit of Italy,
Nice.
but you can't see because I have my name thing there. Here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you,
so that
is
was
it
fun.
set to sleeve
You can't
yourself,
do that on.
or
Bastards!
They got ripped off of me by freaking Christopher George when I was running from the scene of the crime. Yeah, nothing? Okay. So for those of you listening to the show, it's going to be a little weird because we're going to keep looking at stuff and say, hey, look at that. And it's because we're doing a video show in case you missed that bit 2 seconds ago. But if you are watching, if you leave the Google Hangout question things, you could ask us questions or comment about the stupid shit that we say. So it'll be super fun. So, how are you guys doing, Eric and Chris? And Nick?
well, I'm waiting
Hi,
for the first
everyone.
question to come in.
Ow, don't torture
You're
me!
waiting for the first question to come in?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to happen.
Is this just a Q&A type thing?
Maybe. Oh shit, he lost his mask. I completely lost the mask. Oh well, it happens. Hang on 1 second, guys.
Okay.
Hi.
This is live television, folks.
It's great.
Live television, everybody. Okay. Can you hang on? Just make sure your thing's plugged in all the way on the side.
Is
Okay,
your wife
turn up your
entertaining herself
volume.
over there?
Jesus Christ. She's trying to watch the show right next to me, and
Oh.
she's complaining to me right now that she can't fucking hear anything. So, she can hear it now. Brilliant. Okay, I'm going to do the show now. Can you, do something else for a minute?
But she's
For
watching
fuck's
our
sake.
show sitting right next to you?
She's right here.
But she's watching our show.
She's
Okay.
watching our show.
How do I look?
You look super. You look like a Giallo king.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
I
So,
totally
how's
forgot we were
everybody?
doing this camera show. Otherwise, I would have dressed up better.
I changed my clothes 3 times since I first talked to Chris minutes ago about doing the show. So,
Interestingly
Don't torture
enough,
Duckling.
I had a red shirt on, and I spilled stuff all over it, and then I put on another red shirt. So here I am. And I have my duck.
Would you spill blood on it?
No, coffee.
Oh, okay.
And you know, the thing that
she says you guys look fabulous.
the thing that's important
Okay,
to
she's leaving
recognize about this duck is that not too long ago, I probably had 100 of these in my house in various places. And now it took me like an hour to find one. When you need it, you just can't find it. Hey, what's Creep have?
Creep's got his bottle of J&B. This is the fucking Giallo show, bitches.
Very
I think
nice.
I'm going to finish it off right now. Yep, and that's the end of it. So that's all I got. Oh, and
Wow.
it smells strong as Barbara Boucher naked. Whew.
It all
That
settled
is
at
a-
the bottom.
It's a stinky, stinky glass of J&B right there.
She was sitting up in that hot attic.
Oh, man, wasn't she ever hot?
Where does she live? Does anybody understand that part?
She lives on the
She
edge
lives
of town.
in the fancy house that her dad built.
Yeah,
It's
but
her
why
dad.
does she have servants? Are those people the servants? Like the kid lives there?
Something like that.
Because later on in the film, she's in a completely different place. She's in the futuristic house, right?
That is her house. Because, see, that's what I thought, too. Because when the kid goes into the janky-ass kitchen, I was like, that can't possibly be her house. And then he goes upstairs, and it's like the fanciest place in town.
Yeah, but later on, like when she's talking with the detective and the is that like a different location or the same one?
That's the same one.
I'm confused by that whole thing. Like,
It's the
why?
same one as
modern?
the room she was in.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
What do we usually
It's
do at this
okay.
time of the show?
I ask how you guys are doing, and then
Oh.
you guys tell me some story. And, yeah, so how are you guys doing?
I don't know if I have any stories. Doing well.
Your basement looks gorgeous.
Thank you. It really is a boiler room. I don't just say that for aesthetics. You got the boiler right over there,
Yeah.
and then
Do you have any...
my old co-host Lester. He still hangs out down here with me.
It's a very fancy schmancy microphone too.
Yeah,
Thanks.
it is.
I invested a long time ago, and I finally figured out how to, I don't know. Do I sound any different now?
You sound more manly.
Okay. I was messing with the settings to see if I could get this microphone to sync up with Hangout. It's a Behringer C1U USB hookup.
Nice.
Thanks.
That's very fancy. For any of our viewers out there who are viewing us live, on the Q&A thing, if you want to tell Eric how beautiful his basement is, just leave a comment. It doesn't have to be a question. So,
Here, let me
Chris,
take
what
you
about
to the
you? How are
cord.
you doing?
Oh.
I'm doing just fine. I don't have anything important to say or report. I really don't. I haven't watched any Jolly, including the one we're doing tonight. I got halfway through it today on the train. And I got basically up to the part where Malvina comes out and walks down the street with the little kiddie music playing for the first time, and then the movie just totally changes into like the detective thing, like trying to figure out who the killer is. Up until that point, it's basically all, I guess, what would you call it, exposition? Well, now there's a hat. Now there's a hat.
Just give me my trumpet.
That took me by surprise.
Yeah, it's like I
Right
like to
there.
compare this film to an onion. You just keep peeling back the layers. There's lots of great stuff in it to uncover, as you all know. And yeah, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but yeah, it's a film that it sticks in your mind. So I don't think you needed to have a refreshed watching of it.
Yeah, I didn't think it was crucial that I get all the way through. I watched the important parts, namely the scene with the orange aid, as we all know. That's a very important scene.
Oh,
And then the part of the film that I don't really like to watch is when when the guys all torture whatever her name is, the witch with the chains and that
Giallo?
I want
crazy
to say vampire.
yeah, Machara, that's her name. And the crazy music is playing, and it's like it starts out with like some kind of funky, Motown funky music, and then it switches to that stupid it's the only word I know from that song is about stupid. We got to get we got to get our Italian
Al.
correspondent to translate that song for us, because I have no idea.
I want Al to re-record it and sing it to us.
That would be awesome.
That would be.
But it's funny because I've seen a lot of Barbara Boucher pictures cropping up on the various Giallo places on Facebook lately. So it's kind of like we're all in this Barbara Boucher mood. And she looks really good in this film. So
Fuck yeah, she does, dude. She could have a geographical monopoly, though, on the other women in the movie, since they all look like garbage.
yeah.
I thought Florinda Balkan looked not too. I mean, we just after recently seeing her in other films, I thought this was kind of a step up for her. Maybe it was I just like that natural kind of dirty hippie girl.
Dirt look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dirt look.
She was effing disgusting.
With the mud under
When she was foaming out of her mouth, I wanted to fucking vomit.
Yeah.
I don't know how she ever came.
I'll break you.
I like that.
I'll break you.
Break you.
I'm
So, in case you didn't know, today we're doing Don't Torture a Duckling, because we've been talking about it a bit. This is Lucio Fulci's... What movie is it, guys?
What Giallo or which movie in general?
Like, is this his third Giallo?
I think so. I think the first one was Perversion Story,
Yeah.
and then Lizard and Woman Skin, and then this one.
Right.
Yeah.
Beat me to it. So, yes.
Oh, you have a hat on. Look at you.
You do not like them, so you say. Try them, and you may. Try them, and you
The
may, I
wrong movie
say.
to talk about for our first Google
Trash
Hangout.
denim, dirty hippie for sure. Yeah. I know, like, it should have been Eyeball. I'm just going to say it out loud.
Should have been.
It should have been an eyeball redo. Is that how you pronounce R-E-D-U-X or A-U-X? Is it redo?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not spelled that way.
And Eric loves Google.
John
I do.
Coffee, ma'am. Only
I'm
that can
supporting them.
drink. Only not spelled the same. But anyway.
So, which one of you guys have the wants to do the synopsis? Since we've already pretty much said everything that happens in this movie. All right, I'll take it.
If you'd like, I could read it from
While he's looking for something.
my old notebook here.
I was gonna read from one of our sources, but if you Eric, if you have something, that's fine.
You want me to read all of this?
That looks like a lot.
No, I'm not going to read that. That was from the first time I watched the film for a different podcast, and I was doing it all by myself, so I had to take extensive notes. But I'll just, I'll read from our friend's book. I don't know if he's really a friend, if he likes us or not, but
It's getting a visual plug this time.
yeah,
Nice.
there it is. Look how big that baby is.
I love getting visual plugs.
All right.
Wait.
All right. This is what happens when you give technology to a bunch of old men.
Hey, I'm on the fucking cusp of this shit, guys.
You are.
I'm pretty fucking amazing.
You're ahead of the curve. A small Italian village is shocked by a series of child murders. Local outcast Machara comes under suspicion by the superstitious locals, but the police are not convinced of her guilt. As the murders continue, a reporter from the city, Andrea, begins to investigate and uncovers other leads. There you go. Short paragraph. Pretty much covers it.
Oh,
that was it?
Yeah.
That was a short one.
Well,
And
yeah,
then-
there was another little pervert guy that got picked up because he buried the first body and then tried to extort some money out of the parents, which was a nice little red herring, which you see a mile away because the pervert kids, I just want to say that I grew up exactly like these little kids. Like, whenever I saw, like, teenagers or young adults, like, making out or going into a place, me and my friends were on it. We were following them. We were going to spy. We were going to get out our little peepers.
Mm-hmm. Did you
Just our
stand on like
peepers, guys,
overpasses and
watch.
watch them drive underneath?
And those kids were... yeah, all the time. I want to say, though, that opening was really powerful. Like,
Yeah.
that winding road and then her digging with the music spike on it. That was great.
It's such a different, contrasting landscape. I like the rural landscape, as I've mentioned before, but I really dug the way that they clashed the two together with the long winding interstate or whatever that would be over there, and then the rural background where she's digging through and finding old skeletons of small children, which kind of takes you aback, because if you haven't seen this movie before, maybe you'd think it was like a small animal or something, and then once you realize it's a child's skeleton, it really grabs you by somewhere and yanks.
Yeah, and that bridge,
was
like, it doesn't even look real. It just kind of snakes through the landscape, and they're obviously setting the tone from the opening scene of this clash of cultures, the modernism, I guess represented by Barbara Boucher's character, and then the superstitious, old-fashioned mob mentality that is clearly where the conflict is, and kind of resides in the killer that we find out eventually who the killer is. But I mean, the killer kind of is the pinpoint of that conflict, because he's trying to live in, I guess, both worlds at the same time, sort of.
Yeah, this movie was ruined for me way early on. Like, I don't know if we want to spoil. Let's spoil it real quick.
Like ruined, like the killer's identity ruined, or?
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
So I forgot this was your first watch.
Yeah, dude. Ugh. If you haven't seen Don't Torture a Duckling yet, mute or something, or fast forward or whatever. But yeah, it's the damn priest, and everybody, like, it's just like, like, I mean, I can't remember what I saw, but like one of the first like clips or anything I've ever seen of any Giallo was probably that shitty shot of him falling off the cliff. That's a great shot, Eric. She's disgusting.
I'm sorry.
No, it's cool, but like that crappy ass special effects of
You didn't
him
like that?
falling off. It's so awful. Like, the effects in the movie were like so, I don't want to say well thought out, but they were like pretty decent until you get to slow motion dummy, and slow motion dummy was awful.
Yeah. And Fulci did that again in the opening of The Psychic. It was the exact same shot, but he used a different dummy. It was like
that's awful.
the very beginning of that film. The main character's mother, I guess, gets in a car wreck and falls off the cliff, and it's the same shot. It's the dummy falling upside down. It's the angry hippo.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if Fulci really liked that shot and wanted to do it again, or just figured, hey, we did this already, let's do it again and save some money. I don't know.
Yeah, it is another strange, contrasting visual when you get this dummy falling down the cliff, but then you've got the overbearing music playing, and the kind of flashback shots of these poor innocent kids getting murdered. And then each time it goes back to that dummy, you're like, oh yeah, that's right, that thing is ugly and fake looking. It's supposed to be a very dramatic moment.
Well, Creep, I know that your initial reluctance to watch the film was because of the subject matter, and that the victims were minors. Now that you've seen it, are you still kind of repulsed by it, or was it not as hard to watch as you thought?
Well, I think anytime someone takes advantage of people who spend their lives working in the mines and digging out coal and all that stuff, it's very sad and troublesome. You see what I did there? Because you said minors.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Wait.
But no, yeah, I didn't want to watch it because of that. I don't like watching kids get killed or anything like it. But to be honest, like, way the kids got killed was so chillaxed, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it wasn't really.
Is that a
It
term?
wasn't very graphic.
Okay, I'm
Yep.
trying to get this video thing up. I'm sorry, guys.
Wait.
Let me just do this real quick. But yeah, so that really bothered me before coming into it. But once I was into it, it was fine. And um, in fact, I thought watching a movie with a bunch of kids, especially since we did Who Saw Her Die, and I thought that was kind of a fucking horrible thing for children kind of thing. I thought this was going to be kind of like that, but the kids were pretty. I mean, it kind of plays into why they were attacked anyway, but they were kind of older than they should have been. You know,
Yeah.
like the way
Right.
they were just like, oh yeah, she got tits like melons and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and just doing all the shit that they were doing made it to where it didn't really seem like they were like children. And so that made it a lot easier for me. And seriously, that kid, when he went up with the fucking orangeade or whatever, and she was all naked and flirting with him and hitting on him, that kid, probably all grown up now, probably still talks about that. Oh man, this one time when I was 12, I was on this movie set, and Barbara Boucher was probably not even in the same room with me, but when you watch the movie, it looks like it. It was hot.
Yeah, the kids
Yeah,
on
there's
losing their innocence, and that's what it's basically all about. We
and
do have our
there's the
first question.
crappy.
We do.
Oh, where is it?
It's in the Q&A portion of the Google Hangouts.
Oh, okay.
It's from Thrash Denim, and they write, Do you guys think this was the film to start the whole priest as the killer trope? Spoilers ahoy. Don't worry, we've already spoiled it.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
a
I
good
guess I'll
question.
continue on our discussion on that. Yeah, what do you guys think of that?
Well, it's hard to answer that question without spoiling films that we haven't covered yet.
Sure.
Well, without
Um,
saying the names of other films, is this the first one that had the priest killer?
That's hard to know off the top of my head. I'd have to look that up.
I know that Fulci was
Okay.
very big against, or people think that he was really against the Catholic Church, and a lot of his stories and imagery were sort of anti-church or anti-religion. This film, I actually, upon watching it again, I mean, obviously the priest is the killer, but I don't see it as much as that, as it's more against what religion does to a town of, you know, people who really get suckered into what religion ascribes to, and kind of messes with them so that, Machiara, she can't practice her own religion. She gets thrashed by chains and killed because she's a little bit different. And so I think that's more of what he's tackling in this type of a film.
Well, I think too, Italy and Catholicism is a lot different than it is here,
Uh-huh.
and it's probably a lot more hardcore and all that funny stuff. I have to answer Zoe right now. Zoe, Barbara Boucher is not Butthole Face. That is
How dare
Neves
you?
Navarro or Susan Scott. Yes, Barbara Boucher is not Butthole Face.
No. Don't even mention them in the same sentence, right?
Yeah, that is no bueno.
So there's just so you guys know, there's another film with a priest as the killer. Actually, well, we know that Who Saw Her Die. We've already covered that one. Priest is the killer. What happened to my video?
What about Zoe asked about who can kill a child? Do you know that? Did she get the name of that movie right?
Sorry,
That
I'm
sounds.
having hangout problems. Okay, I'm good. I'm
Who
back.
can kill a child? That sounds familiar.
Who can kill a child?
Can't remember who did that one though.
I'll say the priest. Am, am I correct in that?
So Duckling is from 1972,
I was
and this,
thinking about it too, and I think it's also a thing where like Hussar dies 71, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
so maybe Hussar Die is the first one. 72 for Duckling, and this other film I'm thinking of is also 72. So
But the other thing is that these movies, people didn't think when they made them that people were going to be watching them over and over again for years to come.
Yeah.
And if they saw one movie where a priest killed somebody and they thought, oh, that's a fucking good twist, let's go fucking make a movie where a priest kills somebody, it'll knock people's socks off. Um, I think that's kind of probably more how it went than just everybody hating the church and saying, let's make priests kill people. So I mean, I don't know. I guess it wasn't as big in Italy, but like here, if they were doing that, the priests would be fucking the shit out of all the little kids before they killed them, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess you also have to remember that this was 1972, so it was after Rosemary's Baby, kind of just in that whole early, not the 80s satanic panic we all know and love, but the earlier prototypical version of that with movies like The Omen would be coming out and The Exorcist were around this time. So it might have not been so much about Priest as the killer as it was just overall a take on the religious turmoil that was going on around the world. And I mean, anything from how Machiara's son or child was spawn of Satan, itself. That's clearly a take on those kind of films, and then just adding the priest as a killer into it was part of, I guess, just the mystery. That's how I saw it.
I'm sorry, but I'm having hangout problems.
No.
Every time I switch to a different window to look something up, I lose my hangout window,
Oh.
and I'm trying to get it back.
It
And
goes behind your stuff. You got to move your other browser over.
it's just behind. Oh, okay. I'm
Yeah.
so used to Windows, like it shows you, you know, everything that's a window is on the bar, but
Uh-huh.
Macs don't do that. So stupid Macs.
Nope.
Anyway, um, so the thing that I got out of watching this, because I've seen it a bunch of times, and every time I watch it, I get something else out of it. The thing that I got this time is,
A hard on.
yeah, it doesn't make, it doesn't make a lot of sense that you have this very poor, obviously uneducated mob mentality group of people that live in an environment where they have this military-like police force that has access to color video surveillance that they've got, for to use in their investigation. It just seemed like it didn't make sense that they would have this, that there would be this much budget available to this town of Achendura to go looking for these kids with all the guards and the helicopters and the dogs, and they're bringing people in from other places. And uh, do you think that it was just supposed to be like, well, this was like, it almost felt like more of a communist kind of a police force, or you know, uh, hierarchy of authority compared to, what we normally see. I mean, this film did not have a lot of the modern Giallo kind of style to it, which we know about already. Everybody's talked about that. But I mean, what do you guys think? Did it feel like, the more I look at the film and the more I think about the film, it's like, well, I don't know that this police force really would have existed in Achendor.
Well,
It seemed like,
is there like a thing where like how like in America like there's some states that don't have a police department, so they have like the state police or a sheriff's station? Would that be more of a thing, like since it was out in the middle of nowhere, they have like a little small police department, but it's a part of a bigger place that has almost like a little military-ish. Because I mean, they had a fucking like fighter copter.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, it was crazy. They had, and then once the third kid was killed, or when they were looking for Machara, and then the manhunt, the quote unquote manhunt was on from Machara, and it was like, you know, they brought in people from all over the country, basically, to look for this one woman. You know.
I mean, you could see it as they're just trying to silence the public. They're trying to keep them under some sort of rule that would allow them to act the way that they wanted them to act.
It was very Mussolini.
Yeah, like the central part of this movie, and it feels like even in the center of town is where the church is, where these kids play soccer, and you hear the bells. It's one of the first things you hear in the film of the church, so it seems like it's a very controlled locality.
Yeah, a lot of paint. They had white paint on everything.
Yeah, it was very bland.
It was very weird.
Yeah, they just didn't want anyone to have fun.
When that kid got the call, and we were supposed to believe it was from Barbara Boucher, I guess.
Right.
But it obviously wasn't from her, if I'm recalling correctly. But the kid went out to the woods acting like he was about to get, like, hit up by a chick. Like, he was all fixing his jacket, trying to do his hair all nice.
See, I got a completely different thing out of that, and maybe I'm not reading this right, but I thought that it really was that Barbara Boucher's character called that kid because she called back to the house, right? If she called him, that's where she lived, right?
I thought she said she was trying to get... Well, she told the cops that she was trying to get some weed.
Right, but I think that she called him, and he was supposed to bring her the weed. Like, even though he was a minor, like, he can get the weed. I don't know. Because what's the theory? That it was the killer that called the boy instead and made him come out? Like,
the killer or something.
Because he said, you know, on the phone, you only see the one. It's only a one-way conversation that we're privy to when it happens, and so it's like the kid says, "No, I'm not afraid. I can sneak out." And if it was the priest wouldn't have asked him to sneak out because the priest is supposed to be encouraging to be a good boy, right? So I thought it was.
Well, not if you're trying to lure a kid out to kill him.
Well, I mean, you've got to go under that guise. Creep, you have, 3 different drinks?
I have my cherry Coke,
coffee,
a scooch, and my coffee.
See, you always said that at the beginning of every show, but we never believed you until we could finally see it.
Oh, yeah. See, I got my coffee because I need it, and it's yummy. But it's hotter than shit here, so I have my cherry Coke to cool off that thirst. But I have my JB because it's
Giallo.
Fucking Giallo.
Right.
Yeah. And I only have 2 hands, so I'm having a hard time.
There you go.
Because you're looking at Barbara Boucher pictures?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, wait, where's my special effects? So anyway, I guess that's my question. My interpretation is that Barbara Boucher stopped at the gas station, called the kid, and said, "Bring me some weed." I guess he could get a hold of it. And she never met up with him. Meanwhile, the priest somehow managed to track the kid down, and
because he had already. How did the priest know the kid was out?
I don't know. See, there's the hole in my theory. So
maybe we just weren't supposed to ask questions about that part.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody's in the hangout understands what happened there, it'd be great.
We could use some help.
Yeah.
We could always use some help.
I thought the fact that they kept trying to make her look like a red herring was kind of crap because she didn't have really any motive. Like, usually if you have, like, a red herring or something, there's usually a reason, like, that person is the person who's trying to kill somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And they kept, like, forcing it down your throat that she looks totally suspicious.
Yeah, she's the
But there
outsider.
was never a reason for her to ever be suspicious. Was it
Right.
just that she's an outsider?
She's an
Right.
outsider. She doesn't belong. Yeah, it's. I did want to mention that although as much as I love this movie, and I said that it's kind of like more things develop as you're watching it, and I think some Giallo films unfortunately fall to a trap of they try to add too much towards the end to make it a more rounded out film that they just end up burying it. But
Right.
this one, it seems like it follows along coherently, but there are some things that could be trimmed up a little bit, and that's one of the things I had a problem with too. Is if they ended up saying, "Oh, we need to have more red herrings in this film because we killed off Giuseppe, the pervert," and Monchiara was dead almost halfway through it, or a little later than that, and they just needed more, so they kind of forced her into that role. And when you really think about it, other than the fact that she's kind of a pedophile, which you put a guy at her age hitting on little girls, it's creepy. But then you get her in there, and we're all like, "Oh yeah, where was she when I was 12?"
Right. Exactly.
So
But the first thing that the cop said, like,
I pressed the wrong sound effect. I'm sorry. There you go.
one of the first things the cop says, I think when they found the second body, they said this victim wasn't sexually assaulted either. So they kind of like killed the whole idea that it could be a sex maniac, like right off at the beginning.
Yeah. Well, I think that even though Fulci was trying to like really push the boundaries of, social convention, I don't think that in 1972 they were ready for a film where it was a female who was raping and murdering young boys. I don't think that anybody would have been able to handle that idea back then. So they just, like you said, they establish her as a suspect, but they don't really tell you or give you any reason to suspect her. And then, like Eric said, once
Because honestly, I don't think he has to kill a kid to screw him. I think they would all have been very willing to be molested by her.
Yeah, well, this is true.
just a double standard.
Zoe said that the movie Who Can Kill a Child is a 1976 Spanish movie about two English tourists who visit an island where all the children have taken over and gone crazy.
Oh, that's where I've heard of. Yeah, I have heard of that now. Yeah, I was thinking that's not a Giallo, is it? And then I remembered it was done a little bit later on. I think in the late 70s.
Are you in Venice?
I am in Venice. I'm on a boat.
Oh,
I'm kind of fading
well,
out though. I'm like a ghost.
I'm in
Yeah.
Achandora.
Eric
Yeah, I can
looks like
tell
a
by
kitty cat.
I have a cake.
Blow out your
Is it your
candle,
birthday,
Chris.
big boy?
Oh yeah. Guys, this is our first time ever doing this, so expect the worst.
I look like creep now.
Gosh, now I know what Chris's wife felt like on the wedding night.
Whoa. Wait a minute.
It's filling in pretty nicely, huh? All right. After that slight interruption.
All right.
There it is. Nice. Okay. All right.
Did we apologize yet
so-
to the audience? Okay, we did. All right, good.
Did we? Or are you just pretending that happened? I don't
No.
think we did. Did you guys notice the eyeball guy in his one scene in the movie?
No.
The American tourist that says, "Well, that's one son of a bitch to never get my vote," from Eyeball was like the head cop that they all had to go into and talk to for one scene.
No, I didn't notice that at all. What scene was it in the Fulci movie? Towards the end, or?
It was like in the middle, like all of the cop guys and that creepy inspector dude went in to talk to like the commissioner or something like that,
Right.
and he was just like behind his desk. and he didn't look anything like an American tourist all of a sudden.
That's where it threw me off.
What would you prefer, a kiss or money?
What lips are we kissing? Mwah, 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 mwah.
Who gave us this toy?
Now, the other thing that was a little weird for me about the movie, I'm trying to pull the train back on the tracks here, people.
Right. Thank you.
No one knew anything, like the audience at least. None of us knew anything about the voodoo lady. What's her name? Marcellus Wallace?
Machera.
Machera. Nobody knew shit about her until over halfway through the movie. We just kept seeing this dirty chick and had no idea who she was to the town, who she was with anybody, and they were making her a curious suspect the whole time as well, but we had no idea who the fuck she was, and that irritated me a little bit.
Yeah, and then and then they go to the what was the priest / warlock's name? The black magic priest. He was Francesco. Yeah, there you go. And he's like chopping his way through the garden with the machete. And how many times did he mention a saint when they talked to him? Like,
yeah, I thought he was talking about the priest. I didn't know who the fuck he was talking about. That scene was so fucking boring.
It was
like,
awful.
I wanted to just get on my phone and look at anything. Like, I was just really...
Someone email me, please.
It was awful.
But, I think that one of the things that's interesting about this film is that they really don't... I mean, the cops are just kind of doing their due diligence in going through the clues and not really getting inspired to solve the mystery. But the newspaper guy and then ultimately Barbara Boucher's character, they kind of, in the last like 15 to 20 minutes of the film, they kind of decide that they're going to try and figure out what's going on, because at this point Machara has been killed and the other guy, what happened to him? Did they just let him go? They didn't kill him, right? The guy that initially did the ransom thing for the 6 million lira, they trapped him and then they brought him to the scene, and then they realized that he was just making shit up because he was dumb, and in the very beginning, that guy.
I think they just let him go, and then he just fucking vanished off the face of the movie, right?
Yeah. And there's obviously a little bit of a cultural gap, because I have no idea how much 6 million lira is, so I didn't understand why that was, to request it all in cash. And they were like, well, obviously he's an idiot if he requests it all in cash, but it turns out that that's probably like $30,000 or like $300 or something maybe. So yeah. Why wouldn't it be cash, right? I guess.
37 cents. I just looked it up.
Is that all it is? 6 million lira is $37?
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Okay. But anyway,
I got some right here.
I just thought it was. Oh, look at that! Yeah, from Al. So
Al sends a 6 million year leer all the fucking time. Wow, I just had a total wah 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 wah. That was awful.
And it's a Kleenex.
So yeah, like the film just changes gears at the end, because there's no more need for this giant police force to go after everybody and the dogs to come out and all this manhunt, and that whole thing that they established in the first 3/4 of the film, which was the discord or the conflict between the two types of people, or the two societal conventions, or the modern versus the old-fashioned, and the analytical versus the superstitious. Like, all of that is just kind of thrown away so that they can finish the film. Like Eric was saying, basically they got to a point where Fulci did as much as he could, I guess, to make it an artistic film, and then it was like, well, this is still a Giallo, so we've got to solve the mystery. We've got to get these people to figure out who it is. And so I found it interesting that the film kind of starts in that amateur detective kind of vein, but it's right after the last kid is found. I think there's a scene where the girl's car is broken down, and she says, "What would you prefer, a kiss or money?" And then the very next scene, he's like face down in a puddle or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then after
He
that,
must have said head.
yeah, he must have said yes to both. So
Nothing. Okay.
head. So
Yeah. I'll get it. I'll get it. It's fine.
so yeah. What do you think? Was that? Do you think that Fulci really wanted the movie to kind of change gears that quickly, or was it just the necessity of the format of the film? I think.
It might have been me, but I saw it more as like a subtle, I guess, escalation where Machiara's always kind of lived amongst these people, and they always kind of put up with her. And then once these child killings started happening and she became more and more suspect, they took their chance to really try to banish her from town, or even make her come to her own demise. So I didn't really see it as too. I didn't see it as too forced as much as I saw the one with Patrizia. It was just another one of those, the traditional old-fashioned versus the kind of the new spiritual age, kicking her out of town. And Patrizia, in her own way, was she's living in this modern house built by her father, who hated the town. I mean, there had to have been a reason he hated the town. It's probably and got the heck out of there. It's probably the same reason. It's because they just were kind of stuck in their ways.
Right.
But poor Machiara, she didn't have an out.
Zoe just found out it is $3,500.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
Yeah.
For
Thanks,
6
Zoe.
million lira.
And that's in today's money, so who knows what that would have fucking been.
Like 3,800.
But again, I'm looking at these last few scenes, and unless they just on purpose changed the lighting of everything, the scene where Patricia and no, it's definitely the same place because I see the wave machine. The wave machine,
which is so fucking cool.
Yeah, I used to have one of those.
I never had one that big.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Yeah.
But her house, her room, her fucking beach buggy, her outfits, the outfit she had on when they were like looking for the doll and all that shit. Oh my god, dude.
The trench coat?
It was like this weird dress that like laced up in the front, but it looked like a burlap sack, and it was super short, and she had these like tall skin tone like boot things. I don't know. She just looked amazing. And I swear to God, if she wasn't in this movie would have probably been one of the worst things I've ever watched. Like, I would have just hated going through it.
I didn't think you were going to like the outfits, so you liked them, huh?
Hers, I liked most of hers.
Yeah.
I think there was there any that I liked her first outfit. I think that was called a merkin.
Yeah.
A merkin and orangeade. But everything she had on was great. She looked amazing. Thank you. But so I liked that. But the house and the buggy, like, Jesus Christ, dude. She was cool as shit.
Yeah, I think there's a clear delineation building between yourself and me and maybe Chris. I really dig this atmosphere in this setting, and all the films at the top of my Giallo rankings list are ones like this and Solange and other ones, Laughing Windows. I don't know.
Well, this film
I'm
is.
glad that you like those, and I don't, because it makes this show more interesting.
There you go.
If we were all just sitting here sucking each other's dicks, this would be awful.
Right, it kind of would. Especially now that we're on video.
I don't know what the doorbell has anything to do with anything.
Someone's there to suck Chris's dick.
Pizza delivery man's here.
Oh
got
man,
huge watermelon.
No, the thing about this film is that it's kind of epic. Like there's so much going on in the film, and there's so many people, and it's a huge production. I mean, even though it's supposed to be like taking place in an area that looks like it's not well-to-do. It's not an urban, modern environment. They clearly had a large budget. They had lots of extras, and they had dogs, and they had helicopters, and all kinds of stuff. But a film like this is the kind of film where you could take it and discuss it from the point of view of it being a serious piece of art, even though it doesn't necessarily hold up to, say, Antonioni or some of those other like important Italian filmmakers. It might not be that you might get a serious film critic to watch Don't Torture Duckling, and then they would laugh and say, "How are you crazy? This doesn't hold up." But I think for most people, it is a little bit more. There's a little bit more to it than a film like Eyeball or
How
Strip
dare
View.
you?
And meanwhile, those films are very entertaining, and so you might not want to watch a Giallo that has all this kind of subtext going on, and you just want to watch it for fun. Now,
Does it have a lot of subtext though? Like I
Well,
feel like this, like as much as it seems like there's a lot going on, there really isn't. The priest is very clear the first time you see him that he's had to like get rid of newspapers and magazines in the town because they were skanky. Whenever they're like, I wonder who the killer is, it like cuts to a shot of him like all, ooh, ooh, like,
Yeah.
oh no, they might be
It's a
talking
little
about
more subtle
me.
than that.
What?
No, I know what you. It's not as like labor intensive to watch as maybe Footprints on the Moon, as far as
no, it's
trying
not
to figure
that.
things out.
It's not that
But
bad.
it does take some appreciation of more than just eye candy to really
It was
enjoy
much
it.
better than I thought it was going to be.
Oh,
Let's say
okay.
that.
Wow.
But I also thought it was going to be a big old piece of shit.
I mean,
I'm not a huge fan of Fulci's stuff, I don't think.
I think
And I
so.
might get shot for that, but I mean, Perversion Story was good until the last fucking 10 minutes, and then it was just
Yeah.
like, what the fuck just happened? Like, did they really just try to do that to me? But, yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
There's no
The
boo
only
sound
other
effect.
Yeah, where's the boo?
What was
The
the
only
thing
other
that?
critique I have.
Oh, we need Creep's raspberry sound effect. We don't have
Yeah,
Can
there
you
it is.
add one? Can you do custom ones?
that.
Yeah.
It's
Did
Google.
you
You
guys
could do it.
notice how fucking filthy the main cop's finger was?
He was just scrawny and mustachy and dirty.
Which main
Yeah,
cop are we talking about?
The
Andrea?
guy who didn't wear the stupid suit, he just wore a tie,
Was he a
and he
cop?
had a beard. He was
He's
like
more
the
like an inspector or something,
Oh,
right?
I'm thinking of the journalist.
I don't know.
Who
His
looked
finger was
ridiculously
like
like George
horribly
Hilton.
tobacco stained to where it was like almost black.
Yeah.
It was fucking disgusting. I don't know. That irritated me. Like he had to know that his finger looked like that, and he kept like putting it up in front of his face while he was talking to the girl. It was just gross.
Yeah.
My critique is over.
So
Is
you're
it-
giving it a? Are you
that
giving
was
it?
the
Are you
last.
gonna watch? Would you ever watch it again, Creep?
No, I don't think so. Maybe like if someone was like, "Oh, I really want to see that movie. Will you watch it with me?" And I'll get pizza or something. Then I would watch it again, I think. But
Pizza.
other than that,
Sure.
I'm pretty much done with the duckling. I'm glad they actually had a duck
They always
because
have a
the
duck.
whole time I was watching it, I was like, I'm like, Jesus Christ, why didn't they just call this movie a bunch of pervert kids get fucking killed by a priest?
It's the prequel to New York Ripper, I think. I know this thing.
That's what I'm saying.
I know the film has a lot of fans, myself included, but I think it is more for the fact that it's nothing groundbreaking really. It's not a film that people are fans of because it's this whole new piece of art, but it's just that it's Fulci trying to take what's already been established in the early, or I guess this is not so much early anymore, but the growing period of Giallo, and just trying to perfect certain things. And he'd missed it on a few marks, but I think for the most part, it's a well-developed story with a pretty woman and some pretty subversive topics and things that he tackled.
So, how about this? I think we should get Creep to rank all of the Fulci Gialli that he's seen so far, from most likely to watch again to never. Well, let's not do it that way. Least favorite to most favorite, or best to worst. So you have Perversion Story, Lizard and Woman Skin, Don't
I'll
Torture
say it like
Duckling,
this.
and then the other one we covered was New York Ripper. We didn't cover Psychic, so.
No.
No. Was there one more other than Psychic?
Psychic, New York Ripper, and there was a film called Murder Rock, which was
That's
also
right.
a Giallo, which I haven't seen, but
I heard stay away from that one.
It's kind of fun if you like shit. Like, and I don't mean that in a shitty way, but it's kind of fun. But I would watch Perversion Story again, maybe. I might watch New York Ripper again. And Murder Rock, yeah. But
have you seen Murder Rock?
Yeah.
Oh, you have? Okay. I've never seen it.
Yeah. But see, the thing about him, like, Perversion Story has a super hot chick in it. This movie has Barbara Boucher in it, and Lizard and Woman Skin has that chick with the red hair, the hippie chick.
Right, you like her.
Like, yeah, there's definite eye candy in his movies, but I don't know. I don't think. What about you guys? How would you guys rank the ones? Well, if we're just ranking the ones that we've done on the show, how would you do it?
This one would be on my top one for sure. I still like Lizard in a Woman's Skin. I don't know. I put that one above Perversion Story. I think those two are battling for second place. I'm going to put Lizard second, Perversion Story, and then New York Ripper probably.
Interesting. Yeah, I can't even do it because they all kind of shift around and jockey for first place every time I watch them, like in my brain.
You have to do it.
I think that Don't Torture a Duckling is probably Fulci's most accomplished and well-made Gialli from a technical standpoint. The direction in the film is unbelievably great. The visuals, the camera movements, the scenes, the set and the lighting, and the music is really good too, except for that one song where the woman
should get beat up in the fucking graveyard.
Yeah.
I like that for some reason. I don't know.
I think I would just I think I'm with Eric. I think I'm saying, well, this is tough because Perversion Story is a really cool film. It's totally different than any of the other ones because it's more like a swinging 60s kind of film. And it's in San Francisco, and it's got that wacky jazz soundtrack, and I like that one a lot too. I don't know. I think tied for second place is All the Rest. So, because New York Ripper is freaking such a great film, just because it's so trashy and stupid with the duck. Again with the duck. Fulci loves his ducks. So
again with the duck.
I don't know. Maybe if a gun to my head, I'd put Don't Torture a Duckling first, probably New York Ripper second, and then Perversion Story, and then Lizard at the end. There you have it.
Well, next time on our awesome show, we're going to be at number 40
We are.
So that means we get to do our top 10 of the last 10 list.
I'll make
boy.
sure to get some visual props for that.
Are we going to do you guys want to do another hangout?
I like this. I don't know if anyone else
Yeah.
does. They probably don't, but this has worked out quite swimmingly over Skype, I think.
Well, I think that if I can figure out technically, I think there's a way to extract the audio out of the YouTube video that
Sure. I can
Yeah.
do it.
is generated from this, and then you could put that up as the official.
If you go to listen to youtube.com,
Huh.
you could just add the link and it'll pull. I think it makes a DMG file first, and then you have to just ignore that and do it again, and then you get an MP3 file.
Oh, okay. Cool. So maybe
But,
we should. I was going to
Chris,
say
let me
maybe we
ask you-
should ask the Facebook people what they prefer.
I'm kind of scared
Do
to find
you
out.
really care what the Facebook people prefer, Chris? I'm just kidding.
No.
What I was going to say, though, since you think that there's a conspiracy against you led by the cops from this movie we just watched about how the music is always louder when you start talking, do you, sir, want to put the music in on the thing, or do you want me to still do that? This is a little behind the scenes for you here.
I was going to say, shouldn't this happen
Here-
in our board meeting
Here
after
at the
the show?
Chow Channel.
Putting me on the spot here, I think. Yeah, I don't know. That would require me to learn things and do things.
I'll do it. Don't worry about it.
I do have the soundtrack though, if you want it.
I think
I have it.
I think the voices are going to be a lot more even if we do YouTube rip, just
Totally.
because it's not one person recording and then recording themselves on a microphone and then getting two people over Skype. It's going to be more of a even tone, I think.
Then this is gonna
Even tone.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't fucking believe you did that.
Hey, we didn't talk about Giallo score real quick.
Oh yeah.
I saw you gave this one a big fat 89, a must see.
Yeah.
I mean I've looked at your site quite often. I wanted to know, is there any kind of a partial credit or anything, like as far as the confession, if it's done in his head versus if it's done out loud in front of a group of people? Because I noticed he never really confessed in person. It was all just up in his noggin.
No, I never thought about that. So thanks for ruining my website. No. No, just
I know
kidding.
you don't have a specific point just for confession like that, but I was just
I'm trying to find the an 89. Okay, it did pretty well.
Yeah.
Did we get the
It
J&B
almost
bottle? Oh yeah, because I was watching it today. I'm like, I don't know if I got the J&B bottle. No. So refresh my memory. He basically just takes Malvina up to the top of the cliff.
Right.
Right.
Hey, guys, I want you to know that she's not a moron. She's just fucking retarded.
Right. Let's
Okay.
get that clear.
Can't believe you said that.
Yeah. He takes her to the top, and he's like thinking in his head,
But he doesn't think in his head until he's falling, right?
No, he's walking up to the top of the cliff, and he's thinking, you are all my special little boys. I wanted to keep you all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm at that scene right now. Yep. Well, it's interesting to think about, but no, I mean, basically, there isn't anything in there for confession, really. We figure out what the motive is.
Yeah, that's the important thing.
One way or the other, and then the great part is that he falls off the cliff and gets the accidental death points, which is awesome.
That was great. I hope that's how I go when it's all over.
Scraping your face along the rocks as you fall in slow motion.
Yes. But it'll be a
Did you
dummy
guys
so that I
notice
can fake my own
sparks
death.
flew out when his face was getting rubbed on the...
Yeah, some kind of
What the
combustion.
fuck is that?
Right? Is it combustion?
Yeah.
It was funny.
Maybe he had a metal plate screwed in his head.
Well, there's like a little bit of a flashback at the very end with the boys playing soccer, but I think it's not even a flashback. It looks more like They're out in the
Heaven.
field. They're all dressed in white. Yeah, and it's like his beautiful version of heaven with the kids.
Oh, sure.
It's fucking disgusting.
But it's interesting that they didn't follow the whole priest pedophile thing, because it's obvious that he didn't want to have sex with the boys. He just wanted to save them. Like he loved them. Like yeah, that's interesting.
He didn't go that far quite yet. Maybe he tried, and the editors or producers played some magic.
Because there was if you look at Solange, that was another film that did a lot of criticism of the Catholic Church and the archaic old world ideas of sexuality and abstinence, and that. But that's a different movie. That's a lot about the girls coming of age and trying to hold on to their innocence and that whole thing. And then of course there's the abortion topic is also.
Spoilers abound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, everyone's seen that movie because we already talked about it. So just spoilers.
Well, Chris is getting a little quicker with his sound effects, so that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so next time we're going to have our top 10 list, and next time we're also...
I didn't do that one.
Sure you did.
But we're going to be doing an Umberto Lenzi movie next week, right?
Yes.
7 blood-stained orchids all over your lotus flower. So, yes, it will be a blast.
Yar!
Eric is a dog, and Chris is a pirate.
Did you guys know that film is rated R?
Is it rated?
I don't know. I just wanted to say R.
Arr.
Hey, did you hear about the pirate who had the steering wheel attached to his pants?
No.
Arr, it's driving me nuts.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Yeah, sorry. I can't. I got the headwear section. This is the worst ever.
This is the worst show.
I look like the guy from Fast Times at Ridgemont High driving down the street. You know what I'm talking about? Brad throwing the fish out the window.
All right, so you guys wanted to do a hangout next week as well?
Yes.
Fine
Let's
with
keep
me.
this,
Great.
keep this thing going.
I like it.
All right, well, yes. So until next time, everybody, yeah, ciao, ciao.
Oh, hey, should I do the trailer for that movie?
Will we get in trouble?
Fuck no.
Oh yeah, we probably won't get audio. We'll just get a screen. So never mind.
Okay, I'll put it in on the end here.
Okay.
The audio show will still be up and running and sounding just perfect. So
you're gonna have to cut out all the sound effects.
I'm gonna have to cut out all of nothing.
Okay.
We don't cut nothing out. We're super hardcore over here or something. I don't know. This show might sound horrible. I'm not 100% on that.
It can't sound any worse than it has in the past. So.
Well, if there's anything we've had, it's been high self-esteem. So we're all good. What is Eric putting up now? Oh,
the trailer.
You know, Edgar Wallace's 7 Blood-Stained Orchids.
Antonio Zabato.
So yeah, it's all good.
All right. Lovely.
All right. So until next time, everybody. Ciao, ciao, everybody.
Ciao, ciao.